We then proceeded at that point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! All right!
Yum, 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 yum.
Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Well, hello there. Before we get started, Matt, there's one quick request.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just staring at my face. We could change it to like a program feed.
You don't want to see that?
Well, it is a little bit disarming for me. Just entirely my face and nothing else. I kind of like seeing the room view and the screen view.
How's this?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I'll be honest. That was because of me, because of a show we were just doing, and I'm not sorry. No, I would be just vain enough to actually do that for a whole show, just staring at myself. It's fascinating.
I get lost in the radiance that is me, so I have to really focus on the show. Yeah, exactly.
Get lost in those eyes.
Welcome to the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh. In here with me, as always, is Zach, Anna, and the booth is Matt. We have a special guest in studio, Dr. Sean. How's it going? From Lone Star Plastic Surgery.
Hey, all. How's it going?
Doing well. So, Sean, we were talking before briefly, and one of the things I said about plastic surgery that I feel like something that you kind of have agreed with is you've seen people get way out of control. You've seen the people, and I forget his name, the gambler. What's his
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers, who looks like he has like pulled every crevice of his face in all directions. Oh yeah,
I gotta see this. I've seen old pictures of Mr. Rogers.
Jerry Jones is another one that.
Jerry Jones has had some bad work done. What and not what it. Is it? But one of the things that you said is that I don't do things for you that I don't think you need, and that's such a refreshing thing to see in a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Josh. When it comes to doing these procedures, I mean, you could do them on anyone under the sun, but then it reaches a certain point where you have to tailor the procedure to the patient. So, for example, if, a young lady comes in and wants, to have, say, for example, like 700cc implants put in her body there, I would look at her, and if she was built like our friend over here, I would say there's no way in heck that your body could ever accommodate that.
Yeah.
Number one, you would fall over. Yeah. And then number two, I know the long-term effects of what would happen to these implants on your body. And then number three, whenever these patients are out and about, their appearance reflects my aesthetic. And so it's almost like my calling card are these patients. And so if I do work that I'm not proud of, then it's poor advertising. Oh my gosh, Kenny Rogers over there.
It just looks bad.
It does, and and that being said, maybe that surgeon and Kenny Rogers thinks that looks good. I would be hard pressed to believe that.
I think it's one of those like gradual steps. Like they always say, if you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps out. But if you put a frog in water and gradually turn up the heat, he'll sit there and boil to death. And so if you had that right off the bat, you would go, you've turned me into a monster. But if you
put Kenny Rogers in boiling water, he ends up looking like that.
Yeah.
But slowly over time, I think you get more and more done to try to achieve whatever society says is beautiful. What are some of the things that people can do to keep youth? Because everyone wants to stay looking young, to keep youth without looking like Kenny Rogers.
Like the gambler over there.
The gambler, yeah.
I mean, it's medicine. Everything in medicine is almost preventative in a way. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily, you're not going to wake up after not taking care of yourself at the age of 60 and suddenly turn back the clock to look 20. But if you take care of yourself throughout the years, then you can actually, when you're 60, be looking like you're almost, say, 50 or 40. And then if we did a procedure on you, then we could turn back the clock another 5 or 10 years. So really, it would be a natural augmentation. So things that you could do to be preventative are, number one, be healthy, have a healthy lifestyle. So drink plenty of water, exercise, don't smoke, don't use drugs, etc. Those are the easy ones. Other things too are big things in plastic surgery are taking care of your skin. And so, for example, if you're going out in the sun, you need to be wearing sunscreen at all times. Even, those people that think that they want to put the baby oil on and go get a tan, here in about 20 years, they're going to look like a leather handbag. And so nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And so really, we recommend SPF 50 at least on your face anytime, even if it's cloudy, if it's overcast, if you live up, in northern Michigan, and it's like 0 degrees out, you should still be wearing sunscreen. So those are like the easy things to do. Now, other things you can do are getting like skincare products. Like, you can Google right now, you have about 100 different kinds of skincare products to look at. There's different companies, and they're varying degrees of good, better, and best. And in all reality, they all do about the same things. As long as you're doing something like washing your face with these products, some better than others. Some have like more medicated things in them. So if you've got things like you want to eliminate pigmentation, etc., you can do those. And so getting a good skincare regimen, even at a young age, even I would say in the 20s to 30s, you should get on a good skincare regimen. It'll help out later on in life. And then, if you want to kind of take the next step to things that can prevent, aging, you can go into the things like neurotoxins like Botox or Dysport. And, those are helpful because, those are things that are helpful before you get the wrinkle. They're not things that are going to really eliminate the wrinkles. And so, then that kind of, the next question you might follow up with is, well, when do you start doing that? Because do you want 15-year-olds out there getting Botox? And the answer is no, that's absurd. But then the question is, so when do you start doing it? And I don't know that my personal opinion is it's kind of whenever someone makes the decision and it's right for them. I mean, I have no problem saying if you're in your 20s getting Botox. I think that's a completely reasonable thing to do. I mean, full disclosure, pretty much every plastic surgeon that any of you ever visit probably gets Botox from someone or from someone in their office. And so we're doing it ourselves. Yeah. And because we know how great it can be with very minimal side effects in the properly trained hand, though I've got Kenny Rogers looking at me right now. I could say that's probably throwing me off right there. Yeah.
He's a gambler.
He gambled on that one.
Yes, he did not know when to fold them.
You guys, exactly. He should have walked away on that one. But yeah, wow, man, that's handsome to look at.
That picture on the left might be one of my favorite things, though. I love that picture on the left.
He didn't look that bad, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a good-looking man.
He was aging respectably.
Sure.
And
yeah,
then
totally.
Took a turn.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
so
that happened.
So Matt, I have a question. What is your skincare regimen?
I wash my face every day, pretty much. Why are you saying that I have a nice glowing skin?
No, I was just saying I don't know of many men my age, who Matt and I are close to the same age, who have a skincare regimen.
Yeah, I shave infrequently.
Oh,
and
next
yeah, and I do wash my face every day with like a gentle scrub, I guess you would say.
Because the one I have sensitive skin, and I know you're not you're not like a dermatologist or a skin, but I use like this Tom Ford face wash, but it's way too perfumey, and so I have to like go sparingly. But I can't use the bar soap. It's just this whole thing. Like it's
not manly enough for you?
No. You can't use a bar soap on your face because it creates more problems. Either way,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. Diego, my husband, has this habit of not putting any sun cream, sunblock, whatever thing on his face. So I would literally run after him and like slap him with the cream, and then it's in his face. So
I kind of want a picture of that actually.
So that's something that I don't. I put on sunscreen if I'm going like to the pool or going to the beach or something like that. I don't do it on a daily basis. And I hear people say like you ought to be putting sunscreen on like pretty much anytime you think you're going to be outside in the sun, which is every day, hopefully. So I don't do that, and I don't know how many people actually stick to that sort of regimen. I don't know many who do.
I'm relentless about it. I was up in Michigan this summer, and like my parents, my family really, but mostly my parents, give me so much flack about sunscreen because I'm relentless. Like anytime we're outside for a few hours, I'm like, sunscreen, anybody? Like, are we not? And nobody ever thinks, they're like, Zach, come on. Like, what are you, afraid of the sun? I'm like, no, sunburns suck and peeling sucks and nothing about it is cool. And apparently it kills you at some point. So like for what it's worth, an ounce of prevention, a pound of cure. I did have a question for Dr. Sean. If we're about to, Dr. Sean, how long have you been in the plastic surgery business?
Well, I've been geez, I've been in training and in business for so long now. I did, I've been 3 years here in Dallas, then went down to Austin for a year, and now I'm back here starting up the business up in Frisco, actually, in DFW.
So, in regards to one of my many guilty pleasures in my life, I'm going to see if anybody else here is going to fess up to it, because I know a couple of you are probably fans. The 2003 American drama Nip Tuck. Guilty pleasure or horrible misrepresentation of a business and shouldn't exist? Where do you land on that? You like it? Is it terrible?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'll take that. That's good enough for me. Yeah. Just fun fact, Ryan Murphy went on to make Glee and American Horror Story, so they all come from the same dude. Weird.
Some questions I had. It seems to be, and this is a small view, it seems to me that the plastic surgery field is heavily female-oriented. There's a lot of women getting procedures done, more so than men. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yes, that would be pretty accurate. I mean, most men aren't going to come in to do things. Now, that being said, there actually in the past, I'd say 5 years, there's been a major increase in the number of men that are coming in for procedures. And, the more common things for men would be things like, the neurotoxins are injectable, so, Botox, Juvederm, things like that. Another thing that a lot of men are having done these days is something called Kybella, which is basically it's a chemical that we inject that, to make it simply, just makes fat go away.
And that's called Kybella?
Oh.
Yes.
Kybella, yes.
How do you
With
spell
one
that?
K, yeah.
1K, 2 L's. There's a YBELL.
Yeah.
And it's something that is commonly injected in the neck, and for a lot of men, like for example, looking at me right now, I'm very handsome wearing my suit and tie right here. So a lot of things, because if you look at men, what do you really see on our bodies? It's our face and our neck, and that's really about it. So women have a little bit more of a the reason there's more things for women to do is probably because there's more areas of their body that one might actually see.
Yeah.
And so the Kybella thing's a common thing that a lot of men are doing these days. That being said, you do have the occasional guy coming in for liposuction. Another thing that's commonly on men are something called gynecomastia, which is, kind of like basically man breasts. And that's being taken care of by us these days. It's a little bit more common than it used to be. And then another thing that's actually a trend that, I'm not quite sure where I fall on this one, is something that a lot of some plastic surgeons are doing, where they're putting implants underneath muscles, so like bicep implants or tricep implants or pec implants.
Really?
Genius
Yeah.
idea.
I didn't
like
know
it.
that was a thing.
Who needs to go to the gym? Just boom, all of a sudden.
Do you think you'd get more business if you called it a procedure instead of a procedure?
Well, I mean, I do call it Brotox.
Oh, there you go.
But,
There you go.
Nice.
but procedure, I mean, I hope you didn't patent that, because I'm going to. I'm
That's all yours.
Let me get my phone out right now. I'm going to go ahead and tuck this one in. Yeah, I think that we need to do that.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for spending the time. Again, that is a Lone Star Plastic Surgery. Dr. Sean, I appreciate it. You can find him online soon, right? You said just the site's done?
The site is going live here soon. It's just how it is with things like
Yeah,
this. It takes longer than
so
one thing.
jot it down, put the post-it note up, come back to it. You're going to want to check it out. Sean, thank you so much. Up next, we have the news with Sarah Strackhouse.
Smith, NBC News, New York.
And again this evening, the breaking news, NBC News confirming the death of Senator John McCain at the age of 81. This has been an NBC News special report. We will return to our regular programming on the NBC network. Our live coverage continues on MSNBC.
Why? Matt.
I should point out that actually happened on
Right,
television.
that was a
exactly.
really-
I did not edit that
A
together.
montage.
That actually happened on television.
I forgot to change my camera, so I guess I'm just trying to go in the middle.
Oh yeah, here.
So
I'll get
that's
you
okay,
fixed
that's
up.
okay.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There's
Oh my
so
gosh.
many words. So many words. It's,
I mean, at first when I saw it was going to be the Honorable John McCain, I thought, man, please don't tell me you're going to be having like a parody of him or something.
No.
Nope. Just
not.
the actual live footage coverage of the announcement that he had passed away, and then the very unfortunate following of the resumed programming.
I'm sure we'll have more to say about that in Sarah Strackhouse News, right?
I imagine,
Yeah.
I've worked in situations where we have cut to breaking news and you don't necessarily. Well, I take that back. You do know what you're coming back to.
Yeah.
yeah.
You at least have a
you don't know
program
it's
feed.
Dolphin, whatever it is.
No, but things like that can be handled on the local level,
Yep.
where your local affiliate can at least put a bumper or something in between.
Yeah. Let's let
The
this
news
finish.
coverage and whatever is about to come next. You do see what's happening, so I'm shocked that happened, but I love that it did.
The fact that was even on TV is like, where are we at in society?
Right.
Yeah, where two grown men and who are overweight are walking around with dolphin head masks and air pumps to their tummies, making squeaky sounds.
Yeah.
And that
a good bit.
qualifies as daytime,
Entertainment?
primetime television.
It is stunning. They could have gone to break. You could have cut to ads. You could have made money coming off the John McCain bit, and it would have been less embarrassing, less of
Yeah.
a sight than Dolphin Love Story.
Dear God.
I'm shocked those guys didn't do an AMA over the weekend. I figured
Yeah.
for sure I'd see them somewhere.
I had some doubt as to whether or not we should run it, but I was like, it ran on NBC in prime time. Like,
true.
what am I going to do? Are we better than them? No, of course not.
Sir.
in so many ways, we're not.
Not on this show.
So before we get into Sarah Strackhouse, I know I did tease that she was coming up next. I wanted to tell a story that I saw that our very own Zach brought to our attention.
Yes.
And it is being coined the fat tax.
Fat tax.
And it's taking place in the UK is where the outrage is coming from. Sorry, Canada.
Walmart Canada. is
Yeah,
where this
taking
came
place
from.
in Canada where the outrage is coming from. But this has been in Texas for a while.
I've heard about this all over. Yeah.
I guess I haven't. I mean, I've heard people talk about it conjecturally, but I've never heard of a direct incident like this one.
Well, and it's not actually a tax, right? It just
No,
happens to be.
no.
That's a misnomer.
The cost of the clothes are higher.
Right.
For 2X and up.
All
If
right,
you
so-
have 2X and up, they add $2 to the cost of the product.
Right. Somebody caught this at some Canada on Walmart. Walmart Canada is responsible for this particular incident. They noticed in the clothing aisle that small through extra large were all priced evenly, and then tacked on the end of those great value savings boards where they say how much things cost, there's a little note that's like $2 extra, 2XL through 4XL, because that's as big as they sell up there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people jump on social media and say this is a fat tax and you're fat shaming. And of course, Walmart Canada's defense is, well, it costs more material to make larger clothes. It costs extra to stock clothes that not everybody's coming in and buying. Those aren't the most common sizes. Like, to offset that cost, we up a price. And that's that. And I thought, man, this is perfect for the lunch break. What better than breaking down a fat tax? So where are we exactly? What do we land on?
I think we're at the point to where I think Walmart failed. This is a Walmart fail.
Oh, this is on Walmart.
Yeah, Target. This makes sense. No, hear me out. Hear me out.
Please.
Target, this makes sense. The mall, this makes sense. Those kind of, JCPenney's, Dillard's. But Walmart has always catered, not to bigger people. I'm not making that assumption. I'm saying they've always catered to have everything. Like it's a one-stop shop for all your supplies. Mm-hmm. It is not necessarily a clothing store. It is not necessarily an auto parts store or a thing store or a grocery store. It just kind of has everything that you could possibly want.
Right.
All in one. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to say that we're the everything in one store, the Walmart Superstore, you shouldn't charge $2 more because some of your more
illustrious.
I was going to say robust. Some of your more robust clientele want to buy, a John Deere shirt or whatever it is. So those are the kind of thing I think their branding should be like, you know what, we'll spend the extra cash to house these shirts, and we'll moving forward, not worry about the price. If you're worried about the cost, don't buy as many of the shirts.
So
right.
Okay.
Or special order them when people ask for them.
But,
I mean, my only argument against this is, do people that get smalls have a discount? No.
Right.
It's not a material thing.
True.
It's not. I mean, I'm sure in some production side there it is, but they don't price them that way. They don't price smalls less, whereas whatever I guess the average size would be, large or something like that, that's not the median price.
Right.
Everything gets priced the same up to a certain price. So either you increase the cost by a small amount across the board to make up for whatever additional materials, or if it's a matter of having stock on hand, then just say we only stock up to 2XL, and if you need something bigger than that, we'll special order it for you and have it here in a couple of days.
Yeah, because there are stores that specialize in 2XL up. It's like XL, Destination
Big
XL,
XL.
Big and tall.
Super size.
So you have those stores that cater to that audience. So if you're saying, hey, we can't afford the product, they don't have it. But when you go through, and you put a price tag on buying bigger clothes, there's already kind of I don't want to say a sad feeling, or already kind of like a little shame.
A stigma
about getting, a 4X. I've never seen a 4X shirt, but I can imagine, and I'm a big guy, but I've never seen a 4X shirt. I imagine it would be.
You probably did. You just didn't know it was 4X, right? I'm sure you've seen one of those in the wild, a Rangers game or something, the movies, the mall, like eventually, right, along the timeline. It should be worth noting that like Destination XL and places like that, like their clothes do cost more. Like it is a little pricier, specifically because they're stocking in a separate store, a brick and mortar place for that. But I think that'll apply to any special order. I got an uncle who wears like a size 17 Nike or something, and he's got a special order all his shoes, and they cost extra.
Yeah,
so that does make sense.
And that's too bad. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is.
Yeah. If I had known. I guess I shouldn't say if I had known. If I had had further notice of this, I would have grabbed Valerie from upstairs. You guys talk to her about this?
No.
She is an advocate of absolutely the extreme that Matt said, charging incrementally per size, and you should charge more the bigger you get, as incentive for people to not weigh as much.
I think that's garbage. And I mean, look, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that, but I think using it as a social motivator is stupid. Like that's not Walmart's purview is to motivate people. That's not any retailers. You're not out there fighting unless that's what you set up your retail shop to be. Is I'm going to fight to make people skinny by charging them extra. That's not what you're in it for. If it's simple economics, right? So if you want to go to this model where smaller things cost less, bigger things cost more, and that's just the way it is, then that's fine. But if it's this sort of campaign to get people to lose weight because we're going to charge them out the butt for their clothes, I think that's a little malicious, honestly. Because really, I mean, this is a tired old argument, but you never know why. I mean, somebody could just be big, right? They were born
like
larger.
If they get, if they were struggling with some thyroid issues and stuff like that, it's not their fault.
Well, even big and tall. Tall is part of that.
Exactly.
Tall is not anything I can control. I could have to buy a 2XL shirt or a 3XL shirt because I'm long, and that's not because I eat too much. That's just because I'm taller.
Right.
So like you're gonna you're going to campaign against me because I have to buy a little bit extra shirt.
It is worth noting Valerie upstairs is like 5 foot flat. She's not particularly.
Yeah, so she doesn't have. Of course, she doesn't have any skin in this game. Of course, it helps her. So why wouldn't she want it that way?
Right. Yeah, you're right. Walmart is not necessarily the battleground for change in our society. I mean, to harken back to your thing about the frog in the pot of boiling water, I think it's worth noting that, like, at some point, maybe it's worth stepping back and wondering, hey, are we in hot water? And we just haven't noticed because we've moved this needle over time, and somewhere along the way, maybe we lost sight of things. But at the same time, that's like making an argument for charging, what am I looking for? Long sleeve shirts here, charging people with arm tattoos more because you choose to present yourself a certain way, and if you don't want to go that way, you have to pay more for it. It doesn't work. If we're going to be this society of acceptance, of saying, hey, everybody can do whatever they want as long as you're doing you and you're doing me and nobody's hurting each other and we're all happy, it's cool, then yeah, you can't charge people more for big clothes, right? You got to let them accept that risk. If that's how they want to live, then good for you, I guess. Let your freak flag fly, even if it costs $2 extra in Walmart, Canada.
Your giant flag.
That's right. Your
everyone.
huge, tremendous 2XL flag.
I wouldn't be surprised if this came from like a Scandinavian country, but from Canada, I'm actually surprised.
Why would it not surprise you coming out of Scandinavia?
Because
they're all thin there.
No, because they
shamers.
charge you, like, buying chocolate and stuff like that. It has like high quantities of sugar is really expensive.
Right.
So they do cater for healthy lifestyles because at the end, because you're paying taxes, everyone pays really high taxes, and you know everyone's covered and everything. I suppose is like if you choose to have an unhealthy lifestyle, then you're paying for it. You're paying extra for it. So it would make sense if extra large, not plus everyone in Scandinavia is very tall.
Right.
So yeah, I'm saying this, but I just stumble upon my own argument.
No. I got it. Well, it's not like Scandinavia has better healthcare and education system. What do they know?
Yeah,
So,
idiots.
What I'm
doing is I'm packing a whole bag full of Reese's peanut butter cups and taking it to Scandinavia and making a killing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's
the black
capitalism
market
hard at work.
Yeah, done. Take a quick break. When we come back, now we have Sarah Strackhouse in the studio getting us the news as we need it. That and more coming up next. The news as we need it.
Yeah. Why not?
Yep. I did not expect that.
Yeah, well, I keep
That had
waiting
all
for
the
them.
trappings of a horrible rock band fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
all of a
good.
sudden, the pipes.
That kid's no joke. That is Nick and the Groove. That is the name of that.
Good name,
that
too.
Nice.
band.
Nick and the
Groove.
I
Nick
assume
and the
he
Groove.
is
How
the
old is he?
titular Nick.
He's like he's in high school probably.
The stories going around say he's like 14 or 15, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was in Russell Davis and the Tomcats.
That's a good name.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good, equally good.
Yeah.
name.
I was
appreciate
part of the Tomcats.
Any band with an "and" the in there is usually
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah.
Russell Davis was
He was the lead singer.
okay.
and
Right.
guitarist.
I was like, should I know that name? For some-
No.
Okay.
It's just a guy in high school.
If you're
And,
gonna build a, go ahead.
I was gonna say shout out to the Groove as well.
The Groove
That's
was
not a
rocking
bad little band.
I mean, I was a little worried because the ensemble, like, they didn't like coordinate, like, look rock starish to me. I was
Yeah, they're
like,
just there.
It was kind of there.
They're just doing it.
They didn't really kind of get it figured out. It reminded me when I was in my senior year of high school, I moved to a new town and I get like a random phone call. I played drums and I played bass. For the Tomcats, I played keys, whatever. I was playing drums and I played bass. I get a phone call from a guy going, "Hey, I hear you play the drums."
Did you go by Tomcat Josh?
I did not. I should have. Yeah. And so I said, "Yeah." I said, "I do play the drums." He said, "Well, I want you to come out to the stockyard and play with my band. All you didn't learn how to do is 3/4, 4/4, and 4/4 swing." It's like, got it. So I show up, and of course, I'm in senior in high school. And I have on my Adidas shoes, my Jinko pants, like some like rocker shirt on, I'm sure. And it was the oldest place I've ever been to in my entire life. Everyone there had on a giant cowboy hat and a little rhinestone necklace.
Wow.
This was Rock Spraggins and the CC Rangers, also a cool name.
That is really good.
Besides me, the next youngest person was like 62.
I'm imagining the scene out of Blues Brothers where they go to the country bar where there's like
Yeah.
chicken wire in front of them.
It was a I would say it's safe to say it was a very Republican room. And I was like, I feel very out of place right now.
Get to hide behind those drums, huh?
But no, I played a 2.5 hour set.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun. Old classic country, easy. Played and got paid $500 in cash. So when you're a
Whoa.
senior in
Not a bad
high
gig.
school,
That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, that's a lot of soda cash.
Nice.
So, okay, the news. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, President Trump has announced a trade agreement between the U.S. and Mexico this morning called the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement.
Boy.
Extremely original.
Original, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Trump and President Peña Nieto from Mexico have been working for 5 weeks to reach this deal. One of the major topics, according to Fox News, was car manufacturing jobs and then factory employment. Trump has said that about an hour ago that he'd be terminating the NAFTA deal altogether and said, quote, "We'll see if Canada will be part of that trade agreement." Of course, the NAFTA stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. It's a treaty between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. and was the largest free trade agreement in the world. January of last year, President Trump actually said that he wanted to put a hold and renegotiate the NAFTA deal, saying that he wanted Mexico to cut its value and talk about subjects ranging from automobiles to energy. According to The Balance, Trump is a fan of bilateral trade agreements rather than multilateral ones, so he wants to have kind of separate agreements between us and Mexico and then us and Canada rather than a three-way. He thinks that'll be the best way to get us the best deal.
Well, for sure.
Yeah. So.
One would think.
What? Yes. I guess so. We'll see.
We'll see.
We're finding out more details of the
Sorry, Zach did his. Zach has this thing that he does. It's like very passive aggressive, where he goes like. Well, he kind of like.
He wanted to make a comment.
He does it all
Don't need
the
to
time.
interject.
Like,
I always want to jump in and say something, and then I realize I have nothing to say. I know nothing about trade. There's nothing I can offer to this conversation. So I go to say something that I was, you know what? I'll just let this one pass. Like, it's fine.
Let it slide.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. All right, moving on. We're finding out more details about the Jacksonville shooting at a Madden video game tournament over the weekend. According to USA Today, yesterday afternoon, 24-year-old David Katz opened fire at the event, injuring at least 7 people with a gunshot. There were 2 others who were actually injured as well. He killed 3 people, including himself. The 2 victims who died were 27-year-old Taylor Robertson and 22-year-old Eli Clayton. In the article, AE Sports lists David Katz. They're not 100% sure if it's the same one, but David Katz as a 2017 championship winner. Witnesses say the shooting happened after an intense game during the tournament after he lost it. Law enforcement, though, have not speculated on a motive. though, like the article said. I don't know. That's what witnesses were saying they saw.
Yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
Following up on
you have anything again?
comment here?
No, I was going to say, I feel like I haven't been looking, maybe I haven't been paying attention, but I feel like I haven't seen a whole lot of like coverage on this.
No, it was all
I just feel like I
yesterday.
haven't. And right, it all happened over the weekend. I guess that's why I just didn't see. And John McCain, of course, was news. So yeah, I guess that's just the way that goes.
To me, it was all over social media on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh man, all I saw on Twitter yesterday was John McCain. That was the whole ball game. But yeah, that was all. I just thought that was strange. Anyway, sorry.
I always get alerts on my phone every.
Yeah, you're always plugged in.
Yeah. So, well, following up on the passing of Senator McCain. As you were saying, Friday after he decided to stop further medical treatment for a brain tumor, McCain, who was 81 when he passed, was diagnosed with brain cancer in July of 2017 after doctors found a tumor during a surgery to actually remove a blood clot over his left eye. That's when they found it. CNN describes the senator as a naval bomber pilot, prisoner of war in Vietnam for more than 5 years, almost 5.5. A conservative politician and a twice-defeated presidential candidate. He spent the last few months in Arizona staying out of the public eye, and he did publish a memoir in May saying he, quote, hated to leave the world but had no complaints. CNN reports that McCain was vocal in disagreeing with President Trump, but two former rivals, President Obama and George W. Bush, were both asked to give eulogies at his upcoming
I will say,
celebration.
Whether you agreed or disagreed with the way that they fought him and President Trump, I do like the last little burn as I'm going down. You're not invited to my funeral.
Yeah,
it's pretty harsh. Right.
That's a nice.
If I'm going to invite two other politicians to speak, it's going to be the two people that beat me in presidential campaigns and not you. Like, intriguing. Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about the guy, and politically, I'm sure there's a lot of things we disagreed about, as I'm sure a lot of people in the world feel. But yeah, I haven't found a whole lot bad about him. I haven't found anybody with a disparaging oh, here's this awful thing he did once.
Yeah.
Everything's just been pretty clean. The guy was a Boy Scout, I think.
That seemed to be the prevailing thought from a lot of his colleagues in the Senate, where it was one of the, I guess, the old school mentality, if you want to call it that now, of we can disagree, but I can, respect your service to the country and what you believe in, and, respect that it's the way you compose yourself. So that seemed to be what most people were saying.
Yeah. Here's hoping there's not some horrible Kevin Spacey-esque report that comes out in 3 years that you're just like, wow, I felt horrible about that thing I said on the lunch break once. I think it's okay though.
He had a lot of muscle behind him. He had a lot of guts behind him, and obviously, he's a veteran. He's a war hero. But I was watching this one clip of him over the weekend, and it was so funny. He was calling out this protester and was like, "I'm gonna get you thrown out," and he had a couple choice words in there, and I was like, "You go, McCain."
Yeah. When you get old like that, you can say whatever you want. I can't wait to be that old. I can say whatever I want. People are just like, he's old.
Yeah, Josh, that's how food fights start at Costco.
It's true.
But the set
old men punching out other old men.
Moving on to our kicker. So, after a string of agriculture thefts in Riverside County, California, law enforcement say they found a man illegally transporting stolen lemons. 800 pounds to be exact.
Oh, wow.
800 pounds of lemons. So during a traffic stop Friday, they found freshly picked lemons in a 69-year-old's vehicle. I can never say his name right. Dioncino Fierros.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure,
I was trying to read it earlier, and I was like, I'm butchering this. Well, they found it illegally taken from a farm nearby. He is booked into jail on a charge of theft of agricultural products. It's unknown right now exactly what he was planning to do with all those lemons, but
looks like
interesting
animal.
theft.
Yeah. Trying to find a Corona festival somewhere nearby. Hey guys, come on! I got it.
Make a
I'm here. Making a million.
Yeah.
Did he steal? Did he steal the bags? Or did he go by and pick all the
They
limes?
said they were freshly picked, so I don't know if they were bagged there after they were picked, but they were just picked according to their police report.
How long would he have to pick them up, back them, put them in a car, and run away? Right? It's probably freshly picked by someone else.
And he's got to be in pretty decent shape. A 69-year-old, 800 pounds of lemons, right?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
It's definitely
it
no
is.
joke. Where do we all land on stolen fruit? And the reason I ask this is because I went up to Michigan over the summer. I've been to Michigan 5 years, right? It's been a long in the summer.
Are you gonna say
at least.
fruit's like not property, or
Are you saying you stole fruit?
Hear me out.
Okay.
So yes, I get up there, and of course it's like harvest season, and so everywhere you look, you got apricot trees, you got cherry trees, they got apples, they got everything up there, and it's awesome. Like everywhere you look, there's some field full of something else that's cool. There was some guy up there that had some. I don't know. He had some deal worked out with some guys in Chicago, and they were growing like 85 acres of hops for a macro brewery or something. It was nuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so there's this strange. I don't want to say like the law of the land, but Matt, you're from Springtown. You may have some advice about this.
Yeah.
In the middle of
I know the
summer,
land.
there's this strange little like subculture in which people just assume it's kind of okay to roll over to somebody's tree and pick an apple off and walk away and eat it. And like here, I don't think that's a thing. And so I guess what I'm asking is, in the case of small theft, middle of summer, it's hot, you're out walking with your dog or whatever, and somebody has a cherry tree. Is it okay to go over and grab a couple? Is it just assumed that it's all right?
In my head, I grew up in a small town in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was like understood if believe it or not, there were flowers in New Jersey, and it was beautiful flowers all along the road, and I always picked them.
Yeah. Even if they were
along the road, you said that there's
No,
not
like
on
from someone's yard.
Oh, okay.
No, from someone's yard.
good. Well done. Good
That's
timing.
stealing. Exactly. Stealing.
I mean, that's how I feel.
If you took bags of it,
No, if you
But, like,
left
one?
if you left $1 on your front porch and someone came up and took it, did they steal from you? Or there's $1 on the front porch, so it's okay. If you grow a product and someone comes by and steals it, it's still stealing. It's not you. It didn't belong to you. Those trees don't belong to you.
I would have to like be in an agreement with that person. Like, hey, I walk by here every day. Would you mind if I grabbed an apple on the way by?
I'm not gonna say I wouldn't do it. I would totally do it. I'm just saying,
Like one
it is
apple?
morally wrong.
Right. That's where I land, the city slicker, as my parents call me, because the difference is if you planted $1 in the ground and then it grew a tree with 100 pennies on it, and two kids and their dog are walking by on a hot summer day and they grab a couple of pennies and wave and see you later. No. What, are you going to chase them down?
Release the
Two
hounds.
pennies. Like, let it go. It's not... But I don't know. Yeah, that's where I landed.
I mean,
so
it's not the worst thing in the
police
world.
getting that phone call being like, excuse me, there was a young boy and his dog, and they stole an apple from my orchard.
Okay.
An apple.
There are some cops in Michigan who take their job way too seriously because you work in Michigan, like, easy. But yeah, in the case of like the minor stuff, I guess I was curious if you guys ever did that and what your personal policy was on that.
I would do that only if the trees, the branches of the tree were out of someone's property and in
my
the
God.
wall.
We're getting technical here.
Get a surveyor
Okay.
here.
If it's not inside their wall / like
If you're-
fence, I will pick it up.
Right,
If they're
if
like,
you're-
ow.
If
I'll be
you're
like,
if you're on the far end of the
problem.
property and you can't see the house and it's like, what does it matter? I didn't get a chance to. I'll be honest. A lot more people put up electric fences up
Yeah.
there now, probably for that
Really?
reason, and also like deer that walk by in the night and like eat.
I mean, that's the
stuff,
thing. I'm not jumping. If it looks like someone has a farm operation going on here where they have rows and rows of trees
Yeah.
or whatever, like I'm probably not going to jump a fence to go and start picking stuff. If they just got where I grew up, we had like blackberry vines and stuff growing all over the place, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
like you pass by one of those, you get a handful of blackberries and you eat them.
Yeah.
But you're not jumping fences. You're not getting onto someone's property.
Well, no, but like Josh, you disagree with this, and yet while he's talking about stealing fruit, you're like, oh, totally, yeah,
No,
I'd
I'm
absolutely
saying
do
on the
that.
side of the road.
Blackberries are okay, not
no,
lemons.
no,
though.
no.
Berries
Right.
are all right. Right.
Berries.
But the difference is you're talking about jumping into a someone's house who's growing apple trees and taking one and then walking off.
Yeah.
They're obviously apple farmers.
Yeah.
In East Texas, at least for me, from where I'm talking, I think we're on the same page. Blackberry bushes grow in the wild,
Yeah,
Right.
so that's fair game.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't belong to someone. God gave us blackberries.
Right.
We had blackberries
It
in our
grows out
backyard
of the ground. It's
Yeah.
all natural.
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's a lot
So-
easier to steal a cherry than it is an apple, let me tell you. Because it feels like a lot less. You get a billion cherries growing on a
Yeah.
cherry
It is a
tree.
lot less.
Yeah, so it's just like one, it's fine.
Dear God.
But yeah, I didn't know if that was worth conviction or just a light slap on the
then
wrist.
what about flowers? Where do you guys think we land on flowers?
Again,
Depends if you're on a
side of the
tulip farm,
road,
I guess,
take
right?
them.
Like that's
Yeah, but like so.
I mean, there
Okay,
are
I'm
laws
gonna
about picking
incriminate myself
flowers on
here.
the side of the road. So.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
I said there are laws about picking flowers on the
Really?
side of the road.
Yep.
I had no
But
idea.
it's not.
Good way to
But
end up in
not,
trouble, Anna.
not like the Texas flower or something. Like in
Right,
New
the blue
Jersey,
bonnet.
like
the Texas flower, please. The blue bonnet.
I heard
Have some respect.
I heard the blue bonnet thing was a myth. I heard that wasn't
No,
true.
it's true.
They can't arrest you for picking a flower.
Sir, they can arrest you for a lot of things.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. What are they gonna do? I mean, sit in the jail for 24 hours? Don't do that again? Like,
Yeah. Try
I
it.
guess so.
Try
I don't
it.
know. I heard that was a myth. I heard that was not a
and
real
I'm
thing.
taking your flowers.
Yeah.
I'll go outside and pick one right now. See if anybody busts me.
Look, I'd be mad if I was growing flowers in my yard and somebody came by and just started picking them all. Like, I'd be upset about that.
Okay. What happened was I was like walking down the street and we were like, oh my God, these are so pretty. And it was like such an overflow of all these flowers. And they were like outside of the person's fence, like right on the road. And we were walking like right along the road in a small town in New Jersey. And like people are always like, oh, take some flower. Like that's just how the community is. But at the same time, like we didn't know these people exactly, but they had so many and they were overflowing. Like some were going into the road, like whatever. So I was like, okay, if I pick 2, they're not going to get mad.
Right.
But then I was doing it with my mom. And so we got a couple and we were like, okay, run.
Well,
yeah.
You knew it was wrong.
A family who steals together stays together.
Yeah.
They have so many flowers they need to share with the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Overflowing.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have life-saving device that turns into love. That and more coming up next on the Lunch Break Show. Back on the Lunch Break Show. Sorry, I had a quick text to send out, a little email to go through.
Not a problem.
Yeah. So,
Hey, I got a question for you before we go on with this.
Hey, go ahead.
I don't know how long of a conversation this is going to be. We may need to table it for Wednesday, but I had a situation happen over the weekend.
Ooh.
As the supposed father of a young child, I thought you'd be the one to ask here.
Yeah.
So we were in line at a retailer.
Yep.
I will say not unlike a Walmart, but not a Walmart, but we'll just leave it at that.
Got it.
There was it was a long line, kind of winded around, and a woman with a child in her basket pulls up, walks up behind me.
Yep.
They're the next ones in line, and I'm immediately hit with a sour odor.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there going, where is that coming from? What is that? And I look around and I just see the baby sitting here, and I'm like, that's got to be the baby diaper, right? Like, I don't know the exact smell of a baby diaper, but I'm like, I can't place it on anywhere. It started right when they walked up.
Yep.
It's got to be the baby diaper. What do I do in that situation? Have you ever been? I mean, I assume you're probably on top of it, like whenever Harvey needs to be changed. But like, would you be offended if in that situation I had turned around and said, "You want to do something about that?" Or
yeah. If it's a long line, so I'm saying like put up like a 20-minute wait to like check out. Or...
Yeah, it was probably about 10 minutes that we were waiting there.
So because here's the deal for us. So if it's a number 1, and usually when we go shopping, we're in pairs. So one of us would take the kid and get it clean. One of us would stay in line. If it's a number 1, maybe you wait 10 minutes. To get it clean if you just realized, hey, they just went to the bathroom. But usually by the time you've noticed it, it's been too long.
It's been there.
Yeah, it's been there.
And I'm talking like immediately. Like she walked up and I was like, this has been cooking.
That's no excuse. Because the sour smell would be urine. And you would definitely want to get that done ASAP.
Yeah.
We would walk out of line to go to a bathroom, or in some cases we like if they don't have kid like changing stations in all the bathrooms. Like
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was standard.
Some of them are only in, which is totally sexist, in the women's bathroom.
This
not
is
the
true.
men's.
Yeah.
I know about this.
As somebody who hasn't been in most women's bathrooms, I wouldn't have known that.
No, my
You see them
wife-
in the handicap stalls in men's usually, right? That's no.
No, they're usually on
Really?
the wall, like as you walk in.
I guess
tell
I
you,
just.
I saw something that was totally mean, and it was the seat, like a little like cockpit seat, a cockpit seat.
Yeah.
Over like inside the handicap stall. So if you had to go to, let's say, the bathroom, and you were going to be there a while, you could put your kid in a little like cockpit seat, strap him in,
Hang out.
Seatbelt, yeah.
yeah, while you're like sitting down and taking care of his business. Like, what a weird thing for your kid to have to sit there and like make eye contact
Right.
with you.
Just hang out. I guess we're here now.
Yeah, I guess we're here
This is what
now.
we're doing.
Yeah. So anyway, to answer your question, yes, I would have taken them immediately.
But like, is there a way for me to say that
Nope.
to a person?
not a good way. Because
Yeah.
even if they know they're in the wrong, when you shame them, they're gonna push back.
Can I just loudly be like, "What is that smell?"
Yeah. Did I step in something?
My God.
Have I peed my pants? I'm so confused right now.
Oh man.
Man, that is a distinct smell of young odor. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I would be like, oh, do you want to go in ahead of me so they would get out of my way quicker? That's
Maybe.
what I would do.
It's not a
But then
bad
you're
idea.
rewarding the bad behavior.
Well, but maybe that mom was on her own with the baby, so she couldn't really
But
go.
out of
now
line,
I'm
you
stuck
go
behind
change.
him. Like previously, I had the whole cart distance between me and the child, and now if I push them in front of me,
Yeah.
it's me and the kid, and then the cart.
Yeah.
So like I'm even closer now. I don't know that it benefits me anyway. I kept trying to move Megan like in between just so I could get,
She was
get away.
Make-
She
make
wasn't
her-
smelling it. She was like, I don't smell anything, and I'm like, I promise you.
Yeah.
So what'd you end up doing? You just wait in line?
I
That was.
just gritted my teeth and got through it.
How
But
long is this wait? I mean,
It was like 10 minutes ish. It was Marshall's. It was a Marshall. So it takes forever. All right, it takes
yeah,
forever.
it takes forever.
Yeah.
And that's a singular line. You can't go to another checkout. Oh,
No.
because that would have been my move. I'd have been like, I'd have moved.
No,
It's
because
just would've walked
they
another
route
checkout.
you through one line.
Yep.
I mean, they had multiple cashiers, but you have to be in
Right.
one line. So I couldn't move to another queue.
Oh man,
That's sad.
I would have tweeted about it. That would have been my.
That sounds
Yeah.
Zach
I thought
Soul's
about it.
thing.
I really
I
did
just
think
would've
about
been
it.
Furious.
Instead, I just hit
standing
the
there.
group chat and I said, "Hey, is this all right?"
Yeah,
It's a
no, I
policy
think
here.
I think for us it would have been like if we had the kid, we would have obviously taken care of it. There's nothing you can say to a mom without that mom immediately engaging you.
Right.
with
She had a
hostile
couple other
force.
kids with her. I mean, like I was never ever going to turn around and be like,
Ma'am,
"Hey," but I was just wondering if that ever happened.
handle your business.
Right. Yeah.
There was once. What was it? We were at a kids play area at the mall, and our son loves it. I don't think he enjoys it to the fullest because he's 15 months old. But he loves just like walking around, like seeing different things, and interacting with kids. But there was a kid that like bumped him, and it's just kids being kids.
Yeah.
And you saw like my wife kind of go, like that initial like engage,
like she was
hey,
going to go rough this kid
well,
up.
she's gonna like talk to him about like, hey, you need to, but like we're on a playground, and it's one of those deals. It's just one of those things that no matter what it was, you're gonna get a negative result. Even if I had a stinky kid in line and someone turned around like, hey, are you gonna handle that? I'd be like, we're about to dance.
Yeah. Well, now I'm not.
Yeah,
I was thinking
yeah.
about it. Now you're gonna stand
Now
here.
I'll change it right here,
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
in the basket while you watch. Yeah,
I
so,
guess you got to do what most. I like to think in self-endearing patrons of like restaurants do, and if they get bad service from a waiter or waitress, you gotta. Right, you probably just tip down and just hope their day gets better. You just have to assume that parent is probably already having a rough day,
Sure.
and just don't say anything and let it go, and like hopefully,
She had a couple other kids with her. Like, I'm not saying that she didn't have her hands full. She did.
Sure.
And I'm not mad at her necessarily. I'm just thinking.
Disappointed.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just wondering, like, is there? Like I said, is there any way to handle this? To my conclusion, there was not. So I just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
But okay, you had time. You had time before you got in line.
Well, that's the deal. I've seen dads even. I've seen dads have like two kids, and it's so weird. You've seen the dads that like have it, and the dads that don't. And
Yeah.
I'm afraid I would be the dads that don't. They have like multiple kids, and they walk in, and it's like a drill sergeant. Corner, and then he has one kid, and like if they budge, turn around, corner, and then he's like changing. He's not putting in the corner because they're in trouble. He just knows I have to get this done quickly to get you all back out.
Get out of the way.
And if I don't, like, if I'm not harsh and getting you in
Yeah.
that corner with a job to do, that you're gonna go all over the place in a men's bathroom running around. So
I've never heard a man announce the term corner in a public bathroom, but next time I do, I'm gonna make a spectacle of it. Be like, yeah, you get in that corner, you little rascal.
There was one time. This is again like the things that we do around kids because they make us uncomfortable sometimes. When like my son will be at the play area, and like he put his hand on like some other grown man's like knee, and the guy was just like, hey,
immediately hands up.
Yeah, hands up. I didn't ask for this. I didn't give him candy.
I did not coax him over here.
But there's that like initial fear that strikes that I don't think women have. Women have, like, if my son would put his hand on a girl's knee, oh, that's so adorable. She could have even, like, patted him on the back. It'd have been totally fine. For men, totally different.
I have a story.
Ooh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So that's part of the reason why my relationship with kids isn't great. One time in London,
God.
I am about to walk into this cafe, and it's kind of like a dead-end road. So I don't see anyone but a little kid. He's probably 4, not older than 4, but he's little. And I normally don't engage with kids, but I'm like, oh my God, this kid is by himself. And I see some people on the kind of like on the end of the street, but I'm like, they don't look like his parents. Like, so I just like kneel in and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like crying, he's sobbing, he's just being really loud. And I'm like, surely something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, are you lost? Did you lost your parents or something? And the kid is kind of stops crying. He's like, no. And I'm like, where are they? And then as I ask him this, is this man storming towards me, screaming out of his lungs, don't interact with my kid, don't touch my kid. And I'm like, I'm just like generally concerned with the kid, and this man is screaming. He's like, do not question my authority. I'm like,
wow.
I'm so shocked.
That kid's gonna have a good life ahead of him.
That kid's gonna turn out great.
Yeah.
I just look at these men. I'm like, I didn't mean any harm. I was just saw a kid on his own, and he's like, he's not on his own right now, is he? And I'm like,
It sounds like he might have was worried that you were gonna, I don't know, call the police or something. Like I don't know.
that traumatized me till the day. Like I had an awful day, and that just topped it off. It's just like, I'll never talk to a kid ever in my life.
Done.
It's a good
If I
policy.
see a 4-year-old in the alley walking away,
Yep.
not
I'm gonna
my
assume
job.
he's all right.
That's on you.
Yeah, no, for me, I was at a gym. This was a gym in East Texas a long time ago. I was at a gym, and we were off in it had like a giant open area for all the showers. Well, when you're in a gym setting, you're getting the shower like ready to go, and I already had my towel on the hook, and I was getting ready to step into the shower. And then I heard this like young voice go, 1 second, Dad. And I was probably like 21, 22, and just like for some reason, like fear, like I was doing something wrong.
Right.
Like I am not where I need to be right now.
Right.
You're
And
the
I
criminal.
Jumped into the shower, sans checking it, and it was lava hot. It was like on the hottest degree possible. So I was like scalding hot, and it was like a box, so I couldn't get out from under. And like I was like trying to like adjust a little like thing from under. Oh man, it was the worst experience of my entire life. But again, it's that like I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was in a gym.
It's the fear of perception.
The fear of perception. If some guy, hey, there's a nude man in there, like all of a sudden I'm in trouble.
Right.
So it's one of those deals. Like if when I need to remember that with my son, like no, if you're gonna go to the bathroom in a place that we're unfamiliar with, I'm going with you. Like when you're 8 years old or whatever, you're not just gonna run around and like go into places where So
for as much his safety as anyone else's.
I should keep that in mind next time I'm at the my local gym. locker room for all the dudes in there who just don't seem to have a problem walking around with nothing on. I'll just announce my imaginary son's presence before I come in. Come in, 5-year-old kid. Like, yeah, come with me. And
That's how you'd address
see if
your
I can get
kid.
anybody to like cover up real fast.
Then that's how Zach goes to jail. He finds some 5-year-old.
Yeah, right this way.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Hands up.
He got kicked out of Big Brother real quick. So we're taking that is our show for today. We're all out of time on that exciting note.
We'll table that other story.
Yeah, table the other story, how CPR led to love, on Wednesday. Coming up Wednesday, here from 12 until 1. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday doing the lunch break show. I am Josh. This is Anna, Zach, and Matt. Have a phenomenal day and enjoy yourselves.